All right, welcome back. Video 4 here of our world's best AJAX demo, where we are from start to finish creating a working example of AJAX querying a MySQL database on a web page to return database search results asynchronously, meaning without reloading the web page the user is on. An example of the finished product is seen right here. We can for effect, let's start this YouTube video, and then we have this input field where we can search anything we'd like. It's doing a round trip to the database and back, giving a result set to output on the screen without refreshing the page. So you see this video does not get impacted because we're only getting new data and populating the inner HTML of this results div. In the previous videos, we set up the web hosting, we set up the HTML, so we built this form input, and then we also went through and set up the JavaScript. So the thing that makes the AJAX possible, where on key up, we call a JavaScript function, pull the data inserted into this input field, and then pass it off to a page on a web server, a PHP page. So that's as far as we are so far. We still have to write the PHP and the MySQL queries to query that database, and we have to create the database itself, which is what we are going to do in this roughly 10-minute video. So you can see in the working example, we have top 5,000 songs of all time. I got this list just from a CSV file off of GitHub, imported it into a database, and that's what we're working with. So that is what we are going to do right now. We are going to pull that CSV file again, open it in Excel, clean it up a little bit, format it how we need it, and then run an import into a new database and a new database table that we will also create on this video. So first things first, let's pop out and get top 5,000 songs, and hopefully I can find it again. Yeah, I believe this is it. So we will just download a raw file. You can see it is right here. And I am just going to open it in Excel. Drag it from my other screen. So here we have the ranking, the artist, the song, and the release year. I don't know what these values are. We're just going to get rid of them. We're going to keep this simple. This isn't a detailed database instruction. We have some of that on YouTube if you want to go looking for it, but we are going to do enough here where we can clean this up, create a CSV file, and then create a database to insert it to. So our database is going to have a ranking column, it's going to have an artist, and then it's going to have a song and a release year. It also is going to have a primary key, an auto-incrementing primary key, that when I run an insert, I want to define this as null, and then our database will create that auto-incrementing ID. So the first row will be 1, the second will be 2, so on and so forth. So I am just going to create this in Excel the ad hoc way. There's probably better ways to do this, but I know this will work, and it will get us up and running as soon as possible. All right, so from Excel, I can just go to File, Export. We don't want it to be a PDF. We're going to change file type CSV, and then we're going to save it as something. So I am going to just save it as exported song list.csv. So if we want, we can open that in Notepad just to see how it looks, make sure it doesn't have any issues. Looks good. Auto-incrementing ID, rank, artist, song, and release year. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns in our database table. So with the data ready to import, we do need to get over to Ionos and create the database, and then the database table, and then run a simple CSV import. All right, so now that we're logged into our Jonas account, I'm going to go to hosting and then databases. We're going to go into manage to create a new MySQL database. You see we got some here already, but we can click new, create new database or create database. We're going to do a standard database. That's the free database. We're going to choose MySQL 8. We're going to call this AJAX for a description, and then I am going to give it a password. So this database will then get created, and they will give me access immediately to PHPMyAdmin, so I can add columns and such through their interface, and also a connection string to that database. So it is in a setting up state. It'll take about 2 minutes for that to complete. All right, with the database now set up, we can, from our web console here, go straight into the PHPMyAdmin. So what we need to do is create a single database table with 5 columns and then do a data import. So it should be pretty straightforward. So we can click on the database. You can see there are no tables, so it's going to prompt us to make one. We can call it song list, I guess. Number of columns, we're going to make it 5. We're going to hit go. And then it's going to want us to name each of the columns. So the first one is always going to be an auto-incrementing primary key, song list of type integer, so a whole number, essentially. You know, 0, 1, 2, 3, actually that'll never be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to as high as you want. I'm going to make it have the possibility for 11 characters. The default won't matter because it's going to be auto-incrementing. We're going to hit go, and the index is a primary key. So if we look at our the song list, we've already handled the first column. The second column might be the song rank. Go to the top. So I got song rank, artist, song name, and release year. So song rank, this can be integer again. We are only going to house the top 5,000 songs, which is 4 characters. We're just going to 4 integers, 5, 0, 0, 0. We're going to make it 5 just in case it gets larger. Default, we can just set it to null. Then we have the artist name. Actually, we have the artist name. This will be variable characters. Let's make it up to 200 characters and the default null. So we have the artist name, and now we have the song name. Firecar. We're going to make this 200. Default null. And then the release year. So the release year, it's always going to be an integer, 1942, 2011. There is a year field also. For our use case, I don't think it matters if we set it to year or int. I'm going to leave it at int, and we'll make it 4 characters. Default, we will make it null. So if we hit save, the database should be created. So we have this auto-incrementing, song rank, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, artist name, who sang the song, the name of the song, and then the release year. So if we go back over here, we have our data that looks pretty much how we want it. And if we want to see how the data actually looks, not how it's wrapped in Excel, it looks like this. So we want to take the exported song list.csv file and do a data import into PHPMyAdmin. So if we go to import, make sure I'm in song list, import, we're going to choose our CSV file in downloads. So double click that. We've got our file, and then here we're going to review format specific options. Columns separated with, that's a comma. Columns enclosed with double quotes. Not all of our columns are enclosed with double quotes, but when our column has a comma in it, Excel does wrap it in double quotes. So this will allow our import to run. The columns escaped with, we don't have any of this, I don't believe, but I usually use a backslash. Terminated with auto, it's going to figure out when the new line starts. So this looks good. The big thing here is columns enclosed with the double quotes, because if we look at our data here, there are commas in some of these songs and artists. There's one. This Roy Orbison song. And then if you see it in Excel, right here, see how it wrapped it in double quotes. So we're going to leave the quotes there, even though we don't have them on all columns. And then we're going to hit go and see how it does. So this will take a minute to process. It is doing 5,000 inserts. We happen to have a fairly large data set here, but it will take a second or two. And there it goes. So if we go to song list, we can see we got 5,000 records. Song rank 1, got the release year, got the artist, the song name. So now with this database in place, we can now, or we will now be able to query this data with our AJAX form. So that wraps up this video on just getting the data ready for us. The next video will deal with the PHP server-side language that will be used to interface with this database. So when we do this AJAX demo, we can then search for, let's say, Roy Orbison, and then this data gets passed to the server. The server queries MySQL. Now we have a backend database, and then it returns a result set that we will then loop through and output just like this. So that marks the end of this video. I think this was video 4. I believe we're going to have 2 more videos and then possibly an extended cut where we get into some detailed things like normalizing a database and setting up a database table or a query with inner joins, things like that that don't necessarily apply to AJAX directly but are good to know. So as always, like and subscribe to this video and the channel, and we will catch you on the next video.